What up, y'all? It's your man Sam and Viral Hip Hop News. It is March 31st, 2020, the anniversary of King Nipsey Hussle's death. We're in the building for the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast with our special guest in the building,
Yes, sir.
Kenyatta Griggs, CEO of Hip Hop Motivation, author of Culture Vulture, the book, man. Kenyatta, salute to you, man. Appreciate you having on. What's good with you?
Peace to all. What's happening with you?
Chilling, man. It's very good to have you on. Like I said at the beginning, man, it's the anniversary of Nipsey Hussle's death. We've seen the documentary by BBC. Shout out to the people over at BBC.
Yeah.
The documentary on his death. You are a part of that documentary. But before we get started and all that, man, we got a lot of crazy stuff going on around the world. So first and foremost, how are you? Everybody in the family safe? And how is LA right now with the pandemic and everything that's going on?
Man, on my end, everybody's good on my end, man. My children are well. I'm well. My mother, my family is good. As far as LA, it's a little thin in the streets, but people still moving around the best way they know how. Keeping it clean. A lot of people keeping distance, and things are moving. Kind of like not a lot of people out here working. A lot of things are shut down, but people are still moving around.
Absolutely. What's the the sentiment we were talking about? That was the anniversary of Nipsey Hussle's death. It's been exactly a year, almost, to the minute, where he passed away tragically. How are you feeling now? We did an interview last year. We talked about, what possibly could have happened. Do you feel any different now with the trial looming and everything? How do you feel about the whole situation with Nipsey Hussle and, his killer being brought to justice, or his alleged killer, I should say?
Yeah, man, it's still crazy. It's unbelievable still, but it's something that had to be digested, accepted. And I hated that, I had to accept that. I'm sure his family, of course, hated to accept that. And of course, his fans. It's just still unbelievable, man. They still waiting to go to court, from what I understand, I think in the next couple of weeks or so.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, but, it's crazy, man, because, this guy was a father. And, he had a lot to teach his children because as you see, online, Nipsey had a lot to say. He was a guy that was very well read, well versed, and he expressed himself as soon as he got the information and the knowledge and gave it back to the people. Even around his camp, he really pushed reading books on his people from All Money In and, told them like he was going to stop fucking with certain people if they didn't read a book or a certain thing. I heard a lot of stories inside the camp about Nipsey and his approach to knowledge and information. He was very, 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 very. He stood behind. He was very, very prominent when it came to information, man. Like he had a lot of different books that he was checking out. He did a lot of research, and he was connected to one of my people, Big Bob Francis, who gave him the book Contagious and the branding book as well. And me and Bob go way back from when we used to manage a songwriter producer named Henny the Business.
Dope. All right. So you were in the documentary on BBC, and I seen you in the beginning of it speaking right in front of the Marathon store and the stores around it. Speak on Crenshaw and Slauson, then compared to Crenshaw and Slauson now, in particular, the location of the Marathon store. How has it changed over the last year?
Oh man, it's shut down still. Nothing going on. They're doing a lot of construction in the area. Bringing the train over there. It's not really much happening, man. It's just shut down. It's a gate around the whole parking lot, and it's actually just kind of crazy to see because there was so much life there when Nipsey was living. And so much going on when he was trying to like build up on top of that business. It was a lot of energy over there. Now the energy is very low. It's a low energy, low vibration. So the people around, they still come out and see the murals that are up, but the energy is different. It's a low vibration, man, low energy, because a lot of people still don't understand why this happened to a guy that was trying to help people get back to the community.
Right. Do you still buy into, I'm not even gonna call it conspiracy, but a bigger plot to take him out? Because you talk about how when Nipsey was alive and he was moving that city forward, that it was some real change happening. But now it's almost like, I don't want to say it, but the life has kind of been, kind of taken out of that whole area because he's not there spearheading and pushing it. Do you still buy into the whole theory that maybe, you know, a higher power could have, you know, got him taken out because of what he was trying to do for the Crenshaw district down there?
Yeah, man, definitely, man. I mean, that's still on the table because, I mean, over history, we've seen that government officials and certain elitist groups have taken out a lot of prominent black men that were trying to help and infect people with a certain mind, a certain way of thinking. And so that's not something that I don't think could possibly ever be removed from our mindsets and from our hearts, especially as black people, because history shows that that's happened in a lot of different ways and a lot of times over history. But as far as him telling shitty cuz, saying to him that talking to him about snitching or whatever that is, that's also another possibility because that's a really strong thing to call someone or say to someone or ask someone about in the streets. But it just all seems a little weird because the way it happened, there's a protocol to even the hood, something like that happening. It just seems like there was somebody over that situation that could have stopped it, but decided to fuel it and put something into it so that way dude can go over there and do whatever he had to do. Because Nipsey wasn't a guy that was threatening. He wasn't threatening anybody. He wasn't, he wasn't hurting anybody on the scene. You know what I'm saying? He was trying to help people. Because even when I went to see him at Vector 90 or Vector 6, Vector 90, when I took him the Culture Vultures book, I was just looking around amazed, man. This guy was like a next level thinker. And a lot of times when you're a next level thinker, you get around certain people, man, that, there will be jealousy. There will be people that wish they could think like you would, they just don't have the aptitude to go to that level. And so with Nipsey, and he always was shining, man. Nipsey, even before he was a signed artist, Nipsey stood out. He definitely stood out. Like when he's coming to barbershop, you knew he was in the building when he walked in the place. You see what I'm saying? He just had
Right.
that shine, man. Some people have that glow, and he's one of those guys. So he was, the polarity of everything is, as many people love you, they will hate you, as I say on the documentary. And that's a true statement. It's always going to be polarity in whatever you do.
Absolutely. Talk more about Vector 90 to the people that don't know. You're one of the few people that have got to go behind the closed doors and see exactly what was going down. A lot of people don't know what exactly Nipsey was doing, behind the scenes. Can you kind of explain it, Vector 90, what you've seen in there?
Well, at the time, what I saw was there was a lot of cubicles. There were a lot of different things going on, different rooms. And what they were doing were teaching people coding, how to code. And actually, they had spots for coding. They had another situation in there for just regular business meetings where you can come out and rent a room and hold your meetings in those rooms. I mean, it was just next level, man. They were really, really taking things to the next level in the community because no one ever came over there and said, "Hey, I'm gonna teach the community coding." And so teaching coding, as we know, for people that understand how things go down with social media and all these different websites and,
Mhm.
these video sites with like Netflix, coding is very important. You got to know coding. You got to have a coder in
Mm-hmm.
order to get online, and to do your thing. So he was actually getting started with teaching people this. Well, his guy, I forgot the guy's name, but he was the guy behind it, and Nipsey was down with it. And when I saw it, I was just like, man, I was amazed. It was a beautiful facility, man. It looked good, definitely. And it's still there from what I understand. But I don't know so much about what's going on because I haven't been there since then. But I just hope that they're still moving on in the same idea to really show people and share with people, that want to learn coding, how to code. Definitely.
Word. I want to talk about the marathon store and the location. I want to run back to that because we were fortunate enough to be able, when we went down there last June, to go front and center right up to the store and be able to see it. At least if we weren't being able to go in, obviously because it was closed, we were able to go in there. Now it's completely shut down, and we
Yeah.
see and we know the history between him and the LAPD and them not really wanting that up to begin with, or one can allege. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Talk about the LAPD's role in shutting that down, and why is it exactly shut down? Are they putting a mural up? Is it down temporarily? What are the plans? Is it that you know of as far as opening that back up and what's going on with it? Shut it down.
Well, what I heard is they're actually about to build up. They're building some. They're going to be some different businesses down at the bottom, almost kind of like what was already going on. Then they were going to have like a like an apartment complex on top of those businesses. So that's about as much as I've heard and everybody else around, because there's nothing going on. There's no construction happening. There's
Mm.
still a gate around that business and that parking lot. And it's just funny to see it like that, because there's no business going on. Even the restaurant that was a few doors down from where Nipsey was at, that's not going on. Everything's shut down. So, and to see it shut down for someone like myself that grew up in that area, that was my barbershop area, like right on the corner there. That's where I got my hair cut damn near all my life. And to see it shut down, it's just crazy, because there was so much business going on and so much life over there. Regardless if it was gang banging or whatever people want to call it was life happening. It was things moving, and people would come there and congregate and meet up. And again, it's still whack and unfortunate that had to happen right there. So, but they said they're building up on it, so we'll see. And I don't know so much about if the city has it or not, but I heard some stories about that as well. But I don't really like to go into stuff like that unless I know some solid information. But I heard that the city actually took the businesses, but I don't know if that's true or not, because I don't know if that really will hold up in court. Because when someone owns a property, I think the next of kin or whoever the family members are, it goes to them. But I don't know how it works, so I can't really speak on that as far as what they're doing now.
Is it safe to say that once that's back open, back up, the Marathon store will no longer be there, and it'll be something new up there?
Yeah, I doubt it will be there. I definitely doubt it will be there. My cousin talked to his brother a while ago, and I don't think that they're looking to open back up in that area, from what I understand.
That's a family decision, from the best of your knowledge, or and not a city decision. Like, they decide just to get the hell up out of there, just obviously because of obvious reasons.
Yeah, just for obvious reasons, I think so. It's kind of like that would be a lot on it.
Yeah,
You know, if my brother, your brother was killed over there, it would
right.
be hard for me to like really digest being over there and you know somebody saying something. So it might be better off to take that somewhere else, I would think, at this point. And just keeping Nipsey Hustle Square, whatever we're gonna call it, and live off the memories. But I don't think that it would be wise just to be right there, at this point.
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to change gears just a little bit and talk about we know you did the culture vultures,
Yeah,
with Name Dash, and we talked to you, I think, before a while ago. You
right.
mentioned kind of the culture vultures too, whether you want to going to continue that series or is that done? I'm not quite sure. Let the
Mm.
people know if you're going to continue or are you just done with that whole movement at this point? Because it was so powerful at the time, man.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know? Yeah.
I'm I've talked. Dame and I have talked via text. We still haven't sat down and talked. I know it's been over a year now, but I haven't been concentrating on that. I've been concentrating on my new project that'll be out pretty soon. I'm actually about to send it over to the copy editors probably another week or two, and that's about it, man. Just and then getting ready to film the project as well. So I just been more concentrated on Kenyatta and hip hop motivation, because it's kind of hard when you do a project with someone and you're standing behind that project and that person may not be standing behind that project with you, and so I just don't feel like, I can't give my loyalty away unless loyalty is given, and that's just me, and shout out to Dame, what I'm saying? Dame, is a good dude. Uh, I never had any real problems with Dame. And, that situation, it kind of hurt me to the point where I just was like, I didn't really like the way it went. But at this point where I'm at, it's all respect, because, again, we all decide and we all make choices on what it is we want to do, if we want to become. And he just made a decision to do whatever he wanted to do with the situation. And I didn't agree with it, but there's not much I can say about it other than, I did the book and it's still available. And, I did it from the heart, and I'm sure Dame did it from the heart at the time. But sometimes, it gets a little tricky. The heart and mind gets a little tricky. Your mind will tell you to do one thing, but that actually go against what your heart is telling you to do. And the heart is most powerful frequency. And so I just make sure that I stick with my heart, because the mind can get tricky, you know, definitely.
Facts. Yeah, man,
And it can make you look foolish in the end sometimes, and that's all.
such a
But
powerful movement in the book, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
yeah, nah, but as far as, with hip hop motivation, it's a lot of things. It kind of like there was one of those things too. I just took a hiatus from it because I wanted to realign myself with my message and what I want to present to the people. And that's where I'm at now, man. I'm about to really start hitting heavy and just do my thing more than anything else, and actually do some local things right here in LA and try to move around with it. But it's just one of those things. Like I felt like we should have moved around with that book. We should have been traveling with that book. Like when you have a book, the number one thing that you want to do is travel with the book. Like if you have an album, you want to move around with it. And there were all these opportunities coming to me to move around with it. And then when that happened, it kind of got a little tricky because he didn't want to go. And it's like, well, the book is about you. I wrote the book about you, your Damon Dash. And,
Mhm.
for whatever reason, he just wasn't really moving like that. Or he didn't believe in the message in some of the things possibly that he said at the time. I don't know, man. We still got to sit down and talk. I haven't sat down and talked to him. I texted him when he was in New York going to court. Told him to hold his head up, saying, and stay focused. And he was like, "Thank you, brother." And he's done the same. He's texted me to check on me just like a couple of days ago, as a matter of fact. This coronavirus thing going on, and just asking is everything all right? And about Dr. Africa, asking did Dr. Africa pass, and I told him yeah, and he told me to stay safe, and that was it. So there's some dialogue going on. We're gonna build, man, but right now I'm just focused on me.
Dope, man. That's as real as you could put it, man. Salute to that step. Culture Vultures movement was such a powerful movement. I know that's how we got introduced to you, through hip hop motivation, and I'm glad that we did, man, because you're a stand up dude, and we appreciate you. I want to go back. No doubt. I want to go back to the documentary, because I watched the documentary and I looked at some of the comments, which I usually don't do, but I wanted to get a vibe of what people were thinking. And a lot of people, I was surprised, thought it was some bullshit. They were a little aggravated with the
Yeah.
whole direction behind it. Talk about your feelings behind the documentary. A lot of people's credibility were questioned too. I didn't see anything about you, but some of the characters and some of the pieces in play were questioned. Talk about the documentary, how you felt about it, how it was filming it, and what your thoughts are about it once you've seen the final cut.
Well, when they got at me to do the interview, I was all game for it. It was through BBC. The guy told me they came at me, told me they didn't have no major budget. I know different. You're not gonna get flown from Europe and not in London and not have no budget. And you know what I'm saying? But I was just like, all right, cool. I wasn't busy, so I decided to do it. The documentary itself, it looked good. It was cool. I didn't like the fact that they tried to throw Big U under the bus, whether or not, that people felt like he had some type of involvement. I didn't like that. I felt like that was irresponsible, because at the end of the day, you're innocent until proven guilty. And that's usually done where? In a court of law. But then when people get the slandering and making up conspiracy theories on people and trying to put people out there that possibly didn't have nothing to do with it on that level, because, as we know in the hood, just because you might get shot by my cousin, and because he's my cousin don't mean I had something to do with it.
Right.
And so I felt like that was irresponsible. I never looked at you as being a suspect, because I have a different relationship with Big U, because Big U, to me, first of all, he's a guy that loves children. Okay. We're not even talking about him and Nipsey. Nipsey's daughter, from what I understand, is related to Big U in some form of fashion, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
But I just couldn't see him, not even for his daughter, I couldn't see him doing that to his children. Like, I don't know. I just have a different idea of Big U. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm right. But all I know is that was irresponsible for them to do that, because I didn't see the final cut, of course. They just sent me the link. I watched it and I was like, oh shit. Like, they went kind of like at him as if he was a guy that really had something to do with it. And I don't know. I can't speak on that, but I felt like unless you have proof, unless you have documented proof, that's irresponsible to put a black man or anyone out there as a person of interest in a crime that he probably didn't commit. He wasn't involved in that. I don't know. Yes, he's from '60s, but that doesn't mean he has something to do with that. Him and Nipsey were once business partners, and not anymore. Because they're not business partners anymore, does that mean that he had Nipsey killed? It's kind of like it's a little weird to go about it like that. It's like something happened to me or Dame. It's like, damn, because something happened to Dame, does that mean that I had something to do with it? Because we did the book and things went a little south? No, you have to be real. You have to be realistic about things when you actually accuse someone of something. I didn't like that too much. I didn't like that part. Now everything else was cool. You know, it was cool. It was cool. You know, he interviewed some people that, some I don't know any of those people, and I'm sure a lot of them probably don't know me, but it was cool. But I didn't like that part.
Right.
I didn't like that part. I thought that was like irresponsible because here again, Big U is a power player in the hood. He knows a lot of people. From what I understand, my dealings with Big U, he's a good guy. I never had any problems with him. I've never seen him as a person that was trying to victimize anyone. He's far removed from that type of life, if he ever really lived that type of life. And so I felt like BBC, well, Benjamin and the young lady that did, I felt like that was a little irresponsible. But shout out to them. They did the best they could. And we all make mistakes, but I feel like that was a mistake to do anyone like that without any proof.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree. It's a whole bunch of
Conspiracy.
It's like one
Yeah.
every day around
Word.
that time, and people were just doing it. A lot of people just doing it for views and things like that, and to get their subscriptions up. And as you see, it all died down. Nobody's talking about that no more. But I want to speak about the trial coming up with Eric Holder. First, are you planning on going at all, or are you just going to watch from home?
I'm gonna actually watch. I probably won't go to the trial, but I'll definitely watch and check out everything as it's going on. A friend of mine yesterday told me that there's a possibility they might have thrown out footage because it's not really visible. The people in the footage is not visible if that's Eric Holder, and so that could be a turning point in the case. We'll see. There's a lot of witnesses that were there that saw the guy or the person of interest or the guy that they have in custody. I don't know, but I know that it's gonna work out one way or another, man. But at the end of the day, this guy Nipsey, he left a lot. I was just looking at some of his footage this morning, and I put up a post on my Instagram, and I mean, this guy was so next level in his thinking, man. He was just a beautiful person.
Mhm.
All the experiences and all the different times I built with him would build with him. It was never no bullshit, man. It was always like some next level thinking, man. He was an interesting guy. He was
Hmm.
a thinker, and so that's the most unfortunate thing is that this guy, was snatched away from his family who needed him the most. Fuck the fans. I'm talking about his family. You talking about his little son you saw on stage and his stepson and
Word.
his his family members, that miss him so much, man. But a lot of times, fans and other people they get a little selfish with the approach to it. But just look at the family, man. Just sit still and send some energy to the family members that lost their son, lost their father. Still send some energy. It's only been a year.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So those wounds are still healing, man. That wound does not have a scab on it. Put it that way. That's some heavy wounds, brother. You know what I'm saying? To lose somebody so important to you.
Absolutely. Do you feel like some rappers out there, have tried to exploit Nipsey Hussle's name? I mean, we're not gonna mention no names, but we've seen a lot of people who have just, attached themselves to Nipsey without necessarily the family giving, their blessing to the people. Do you see that out there? People talking about that? Like he ain't really down with Nipsey. She ain't really down with Nipsey. They just doing a so-called clout or whatever they call it. Do you
Yeah,
like that? Yeah.
yeah. I've seen a few people talk about that. But it's hard to really say who was who in that situation because he reached out to so many people that they don't even know about, because he was one of those kind of guys, man. If he liked you and he fucked with you, he would reach out to you. He would build with you, and he might jump on a song with you. So, a lot of people, that some of these people are fans. Some of these people are really friends. Some of these people were just associates in the studio, and more power to them. But it's hard to say, man, and it's like that turns into a conspiracy theory of who's who. But this is a guy that circled around all over the United States and certain parts of the world and gave his energy to people. And that's a beautiful thing because everybody that came in contact with him, if you ever pay attention, they don't really say anything gross about the dude. The dude was like a solid guy. He was a stand-up dude, man. Every time I dealt with him from the time he was 16 years old, coming in the barbershop, him and Kabi, it was like he was a stand-up guy. He was a stand-up guy. Definitely. Even from the time he told me his name was going to be Nipsey Hussle in the barbershop.
Right.
I go by Nipsey Hussle. And we laughed at him, but he didn't laugh. He had a grin on his face and he stayed focused on what he wanted to do. And that's when I knew. I was like, because me knowing about personal magnetism and confidence, I knew right off the bat. Soon as I didn't see him get flustered or shaken up because we was laughing at the name, I knew then. I said, okay, this guy is ready. He's on this path. He's on this purpose. And that's what you saw towards the end of his life, is that he stayed on this purpose and he actually accomplished that goal that he set out to accomplish.
I'm going to kind of piggyback off of the purpose and accomplishing his goal, because a lot of criticism also that Nip got was opening up the store where he opened up the store. Now, we know the significance behind it. We've heard the stories on why he opened up there. But looking at it in hindsight now, a year later, after his death, what do you feel about that? I think we even talked about it maybe this time last year when we talked to you about the podcast. Do we how do we feel about him opening the store there? Should he have moved out? What are your feelings about that now?
Well, of course, we all feel like he should have moved out because he got killed there. But this is a guy whose heart was in the right place.
Fact.
He meant so. It's hard to tell someone that means well and their heart is in a certain place to not do something, because we're not fortune tellers. We don't see him getting killed over there. We just saw him as a person that grew up in the neighborhood. That's where his original store was at. So why not buy the properties in that location? Why not buy the land? Why not continue to do business over there? So it's hard to say that, man, to me. At one time, I was really feeling that way, but I felt like, this is a guy, his intentions were in the right place. This could happen anywhere. If you look at the police records and all over the world, it's people that get killed in Beverly Hills. It's people that get killed in Hollywood, or New York, in the Bronx, Manhattan. I mean, there's all types of crime and different things going on all over the world. So it's not so much of that. It's just more of, his intention was in the right place, but of course, you're going to have haters. You're going to have people that are not going to really rock and roll with your movement. And that can be anywhere. There's always going to be haters. There's always going to be people that low key they ain't going to share with you that they hate on you, because nobody admits to hate. They just say, oh, look at you doing it big. I see you. And they might hit you with some of that talk. But on the low, they really feel in a certain kind of way, and they sharpen their swords behind your back. So at the time, when that's going on, you never know. You never know who is going to jump out the bush on you. When you're walking in the door, walking home, or with your girl, you never know. So we can't, and you can't live your life being worried about that. But at the same time, you have to take certain precautions, and just make sure that, you're moving in a certain way. I felt like he probably definitely should have had some bodyguards over there with him. And some different, definitely should have had his crew with him. But, and shout out to his crew, the All Money In crew, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they did the best they could, and I hope none of them are still feeling like, they could have did more, because, when it's your time, man. It's God's plan. And, it's hard to say, man. I would say, I think, like, his intentions were in the right place, and he was just here to show us that it can be done, and what shouldn't be done, I guess, on the other end. Again, every polarity.
Yeah, we definitely, learned a lot, from Nipsey and that whole situation. I think everybody, learned a lot, even with the guy, Pop Smoke, the rapper. He was out there, and that situation went down, man. It's a crazy situation. Have you heard about the so-called driver? Do you know if anybody's going to be testifying on Nipsey's behalf? Do you know anything about that, or is that kind of up in the air until the trial starts?
I haven't heard anything about that. The only thing I talked to someone about yesterday was the fact that, and I don't know if this is true, but they were going to be throwing out the footage because they can't really tell if that's Eric Holder on the footage. So I hope that's not the truth, and I hope that they can do something where they can, bring it closer and see who's who. Or there was some other camera angles, but who knows? We'll see.
Wow.
We'll definitely, we'll definitely see. Mm-hmm.
Oh God, we talked about that early on. You brought up them cameras, and I was like, "Nah, dog. Where that is no way in hell. Police don't got cameras. There's cameras everywhere out there." But then we went out there and we seen firsthand, like, "Whoa, it ain't where's the cameras at?" Like, didn't feel good. Kenyatta, I'm going to ask you about the alleged suspect right now. Was it hate, in your opinion, or was there something more, and he's a pawn in the bigger puzzle at play right now? What is your gut feeling telling you about the alleged suspect?
My gut feeling initially, and even later on, was that he was a pawn. He was moved to make that move on Nip, because if he was known as a snitch, I don't think he would have even came to the area if cats was looking at him that way. But you know, it's again, man, it's a weird thing because it's like, damn, did he get paid to do this?
Hmm.
Because the people on record said it wasn't an argument. It wasn't no loud talking or nothing. He just asked him about snitching. And he said he's gonna have to work it out. You're gonna have to figure that. You're gonna have to work that out because the word is you snitching. And it wasn't an argument. It wasn't nothing aggressive. Dude leaves and he comes back and chaos breaks out.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, whatever it is, man, this is a fool, man. That's stupid, man. Like it ain't make sense. It ain't that serious. It ain't that
Whoever,
serious, man.
whoever,
There's some people saying the conspiracy theory of, is some Illuminati stuff and some stuff, on the other end of, he was involved in something that, he didn't really understand and he went against the the establishment or the order. I heard that story. There's so many stories out there, conspiracy theories, but even if that's the case, that's weird and that's stupid because it's not that deep. It's not that serious.
um,
It's not that serious.
he shot left. He shot, I think, and left 3 times, and then finally shot and then kicked Nipsey in the head before leaving, shooting him a
Yeah.
total of 10 times. What does that say to you? Was that a personal vendetta? Was that like? Because when I see something like that, even though they say the cameras are blurry, and yeah, I can agree with you. You see what happens though. It seems like something personal. That seems like something body you don't like. So talk about talk about that.
Yeah, definitely seemed personal, but I still feel like he was moved in that
Yeah,
direction upon,
yeah,
if the conversation went on snitching and he felt some kind of way about it, and there was no argument and nothing aggressive, I don't even understand. I can't get the logic of, okay, well, in my mind it's aggressive, maybe because you brought up snitching and that's what it was. You might feel untouchable because you're over here in your hood, or in our hood. So let me come back and show you what time it is. It's just a ridiculous situation, man. That shit is the dirtiest shit in the world because this dude lost his life, man. He was an important dude in the community. He was doing major things, doing next level stuff. And anyone that's been killed on that level was important. You know what I'm saying? For
yeah,
nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I got shot, I was like, yeah, I was like, damn it. I'm like, I'm laying on the ground. Like, this fool is actually shooting me. Like,
mm,
this is going on. This is happening. This is a real thing. And I'm laying there like, oh shit. Then he ran up to me with the gun, put it in my face, click, 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 no more bullets that fast. And it happened so fast, man. It's ridiculous. It's the dumbest shit in the world. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't put that on anybody. I have no enemies, but I wouldn't put that on the enemy.
Right. Something tells me, and we were talking about this because we talked about the footage, and I was like, "Yo, you really can't see him."
said
What I
that.
mean? I'm just keeping it a buck. You can't
Yeah,
really tell. It looks like
I
the guy they got, but if you ask a jury to point it out and say they wouldn't be able to
yeah,
identify this dude, so it's really going to be up to the people who were there, the other guys who got shot, who are already saying they ain't seen
yeah,
nothing. So I'm
yeah,
hoping that this don't go down that road to where they don't have enough evidence to bring this guy, down. If it was him, I got to leave it up, to speculation. I believe it in my heart that it was that guy that they have, but
oh
can I
yeah, yeah.
prove it? Not
Because
really.
they had witnesses, but as far
Right.
as the camera goes with the jury, you're right, man. Like, how can they really say, "Oh, that's him on tape,"
Right.
unless they have other footage that's actually clear from a different angle?
Correct.
Do you think that whoever it was, right now we got the last suspect in custody, but we have no one else even as a suspect in the case, in the murder?
Mm-hmm.
Did he go into that situation knowing what he was about to do, or did it happen based off of that conversation? Because we, like you said, we see it on camera. It didn't look like much aggression going on. It seemed like, I mean, as best as we see, it looks like people having a normal conversation. Um, so if we can just allege that based off maybe the conversation, or what do you think that he walked in there knowing what he was about to do?
It seemed that way to me.
Okay.
Initially I was looking at it. It seemed like somebody put a battery in his back.
Mm,
But the other side is the snitching conversation. Snitching is a serious thing, as we all know, just being from the hood. Snitching is a serious thing. Like the guy in the movie said, that's like calling somebody a molester.
mm,
Straight up. And that snitching damn near is worse than rape. You know what I'm saying? In a lot of cases, molestation is connected to it. That's like the same thing. It's just different sides of the same coin. So when you call somebody that, horrible, 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 brother. You know what I'm saying? And people react, because they don't want their reputation to get tarnished in their neighborhood or wherever they from. You know what I'm saying? They don't want their peers to look at them a certain way, so they might react in a aggressive way to stop you from spreading that message and spreading that news. Yeah. So that's the other side of it. But it definitely looked like somebody put a battery in his back.
Right. There was an article that came out, a lot of different hip hop outlets and even other outlets were putting out, and they were saying that allegedly this guy Eric Holder said that he was paid $70,000. It gained a
Right.
lot of steam. It's never been substantiated. Nobody's ever have any documentation that said it was him, but it was just rumors that came out. And then I forget the lady's name, but a congresswoman or former congresswoman kind of added fuel to the fire when she said, yeah, stuff like this happened back in the COINTELPRO days. They would, take prominent black leaders out. And when she said that, I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. I'm trying to find the article right now. But yeah, man, crazy
Absolutely.
situation.
Yeah. That's why I said that, because, when the money thing was brought up, I think it was what he said, 70,000 or something crazy.
Yeah.
I heard that number, but this is something that has taken place. If you look at history, man, do your research. This has happened many times in many different ways throughout history, especially among black people. There's always been people that have been paid under the table to take somebody out, to say someone did something they didn't do. So this is something this is commonplace. This happened. But then the other side is, through gang banging and through the mentality of somebody that's, a killer already. The other side is, you do your research on people that already have that black heart where they'll straight kill somebody no matter what. Eric Holder could be a person that reacted based on being called a snitch. But the money thing is heavier than just being called a snitch. So if he knew what he was going over there to do, or that he had something to do to get his money or whatever it was, that's why I said it felt like someone put a battery in his back. Something funny about that. It just didn't seem like a normal situation, because from what I read and understand, it was not aggressive. There was no aggressive conversation, because I even felt like if it wasn't an aggressive conversation, I don't think Nipsey would have just stayed over there like that. I feel like it was a conversation that he knew the guy. It was a conversation. He went on his way. He asked Nipsey about, did he hear his music or something like that? And he bounced, came back, chaos. Straight up. So I don't think I don't know. It just seems too funny, man. It just seems like something is a little fishy about everything.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, when the documents begin to come out and we hear his side of the story and the defense puts the story up, this thing is going to blow open. Like, all the questions that we've been wondering about the last year, they're all going to be answered in just a few, couple of months probably now at this point.
Facts. Kenyatta, to the best of your knowledge, do you know if it's going to be televised? Because you said you're going to be watching it. So I'm guessing locally you will. Will we be able to watch it?
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard it's going to be, they're going to have, it's going to be part of, I don't know if it's going to be on the news. I forgot I heard something about it was going to be televised. I definitely heard that. So hopefully we get a chance to check it out, but, there's no telling with this one, because it may be some fishy stuff going on. And so they don't want it televised. They don't want you to see what's going on, so we'll see. I don't know if I don't know if they're going to do it the same way they did the O.J. Simpson trial, because that's a lot different, because, the factor of race has a lot to do with that. It was a white lady that passed away and a white man. So, this may be a lot different.
Definitely. With the advance of social media, that news is going to be out in a split second if they show it on TV, and it's going to be way different. And I was going to say that the trial's going to tell a lot. The trial's going to tell us whether or not there's some fishy stuff going on. What's the Eric Holder's involvement? We're going to learn a lot from that. I want to kind of transition a little bit. Since Nip's passing, we've had Kobe lost. We see what's going on with the current situation. There's a lot of downside to LA. But what's going on with the virus, man? You see a lot of celebrities out here claiming to have it. You see a lot of hoopla. Obviously, the conspiracies are running rampant involving this situation. What is your gut feeling, your thought, as you sit at home about what's going on with the current climate of our situation?
Well, as far as myself, I just look at it like, I'm just going for what I know. I'm taking my herbs. I'm doing my cleansing like I always would do anyway. I cleanse like at least twice a month. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I take certain herbs. I still go and get on my workout thing, take walks, and just kind of pass this information on to my family and my friends. And I ain't had a sniffle yet, but not to say that's not a real thing because it's I feel like it's a man-made virus. It's a man-made situation that was made to take people out and to do a certain thing, but now they lost control of the virus, and you know it's a lot going on right now because the shift is taking place. But when you see things like this happening, understand that the other side of it is there's something being introduced and coming forth
Mhm.
because dark time right now. So there's something coming forth that that's really going to change the world as we know it. The world is not the same anymore. Just look around. And it's some serious shit when white folks are shutting down they stores and they
Mhm.
Yeah.
mills. know, let's keep it real. Money's they God. So we got to know that it's serious. It's something serious that's going on, and it's causing businesses to shut down from under. I heard Donald Trump is losing major money every single day. Because his hotels and his properties he has, and so on and so on. So it's a serious thing because they don't just be messing around with their money like that. Nah,
Definitely,
they ain't
definitely.
about to shut down shit. Yeah, they ain't messing with their money like
Yeah.
Hell no.
So, but for us as black people, it's just time really more than anything else is to just raise our consciousness and stay in tune with what's important and the real shit, and which is the spiritual side of things. Don't get so caught up in the physical. Right now is the most important time for a lot of us because this turns the volume up on what's really pimping us and what's really controlling us. If you can't sit still, you can't sit in the house, you got to check yourself. You start overeating, you start doing anything that hurts you right now, pay attention to it because that's speaking volumes on what you need to correct and what you need to change about yourself. And so this is a very important time for a lot of people if you sit still and pay attention to what's going on. And it's going to put you back in alignment with the true self because it may give you time to sit alone, spend time with your family, with yourself more than anything else, but spending time with your family, getting to know your loved ones a little bit more. If you have children, I know that could be hectic because my son's been out of school and I want to take him now. You know what I'm saying? Put a mask on him and send him back to school already. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
What's
man.
out?
It's homeschool shit for the birds, dog. Like, yeah,
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God.
I love
But
it. I love it, but come on, man.
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, right now, it just turns the volume up on whatever your addiction is or whatever, is holding you in bondage. So listen to it. Pay attention to it. Just pay attention to what's going on right now. Some people are, going into deep depression. That's the biggest thing, because
Mhm.
there's so many people out here that feel like they don't have any answers. They don't know anything but going to their job, or they don't know anything but the business they have. They don't know anything about other than the money that they have in their bank account. What if the bank system gets corrupted all of a sudden, just like the
Might.
virus?
It might.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what I do is, if you're living from the physical, you're in trouble. So what you want to do is you want to reverse it and come spiritual. Go back within and pay attention to the inner voices that are going on within yourself. Get more in tune with yourself, and you start off by doing that by sitting still, as they tell you in Scripture. Sit still and know that I'm thy God, and that's where all the answers come. That's where all the answers are. Just get back in tune with the spiritual side of your stuff. You so concerned about the physical, just like that computer you got in front of you right now. If you
Hmm.
lost the computer, will that devastate you to the point where you just give up and you get depressed? It shouldn't, but there's some people that it would.
Hmm.
So right now is an opportune time to correct yourself and get your spirit in alignment with what's real.
Absolutely, absolutely. But we got Kenyatta Griggs, the
Shit.
co-author of Cultural Vultures, in here today. I want you to let the people know, brother Kenyatta, what you working on now with the people. What can they expect from Hip Hop Motivation, and what you got working on, for the people right now?
Well, we're working on. I'm laying out this movie idea. I'm almost finished doing that. I got another book coming, and then I have another children's book I'm also working on. The children's book I just put out the top of last year was my Barber's Hand Stink
Hmm.
about with children and hygiene and washing their hands. It's all available on Amazon, like Culture Vultures and everything else. And I'm working, man. A lot of studying, a lot of research. I got some. I've actually. It's been a lot of changes that went on mentally and spiritually since last time I talked to you guys, and so now, it's I'm studying. I'm studying all types of different things right now, from magic to dark
Okay.
codism. It's real deep. I got some good information for the people. People
Yeah.
that are ready for this information.
Oh man, I'm very excited about that, man. I'm glad to see you doing well. I was telling the old
Yeah.
guy, man, it's been a year since we talked to Kenyatta. He said, man, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
It's been like, nah, dog, it's been a year since we
Because when you guys came to LA, did you? I don't know if you hit me or what. We talked briefly. And,
tried, man. We know how it go. We were so
I
busy.
already know.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we tried though. We definitely wanted to.
Oh yeah, now it's easy to get wrapped up in LA real quick. You know what I'm saying? You
Man,
move around, you be like, damn it, time done flew.
we ain't
Yeah.
felt like we slept. We was like, what the fuck just happened, man? It was crazy. But man,
Yeah.
as we wrap up the interview, I want to tell the people real quick, we got a great special going on the platform.
Yeah,
Viral
yeah.
Hip Hop News Uncensored. If you want to get your music promoted on the platform, hit us up. Hit me on my email, dlsmediainc1@gmail.com or ogod@hiphopun.com for more
Yeah.
details involving that, man. We'll shoot you an email, get you locked in. Don't wait, man. Get your stuff promoted on 2 major platforms. Before we get out of here, Kenyatta Griggs, we appreciate your time, man. Appreciate you hitting me back so quick and spending your time with us, man. As we approach damn near, I think it's about the time when Nip died. I think he died at 3:55 p.m.
Yeah.
Pacific
Yeah.
time. So, I mean, salute to Nip. Closing remarks on how you remember Nip, how people should remember Nip, and just how you feel about Nip on this day.
Man, Nipsey had the glow. You know what I'm saying? He had the glow. He was a stand-up guy. Like I said, when you walked in the room, you knew he was there. He was in the building. But everything that Nipsey knew is available for you. You know what I'm saying? Through the asking. If you ask for it. Research Nipsey, admire his work, admire the things that he says, and it will actually become a part of you. That's the whole form of transformation. You can take on anything, any genius that you ever see out there in the world. Just remember that there's one universal mind, and that universal mind is available to you also, and you're connected to that universal mind. So anything that you want to do, any trait that you like that Nipsey possessed, you can actually take it on yourself as well through admiration. That's the key. If you admire it, it can become a part of you. Take it to the next level, utilize that for yourself and your community, and build something, man. Continue to build with your people, but also don't get so attached to the physical. Go spiritual. This is the most important time to go spiritual. Don't get attached to everything you see, everything you hear. Let it go. Relax. Just relax. Take it easy. Breathe deep. Meditate. Also, get in tune with your family and friends and pull them up as well, because there's a lot of depression that's going on, and that will continue to go on from this situation.
Dope, man. I can't wait to see what you got coming up in the near future. Keep us updated, man. Keep us in the loop so we can damn sure promote it by the products, man. We want to keep supporting what you got going on, man. Drop the people your handle, and then we get up out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they can hit me on Instagram. I mean, I'm not on Facebook that much, but Instagram at hip_hop_motivator, same tag. And they can always hit me on the email at hiphopmotivation01@gmail.com. And I'll see you soon, because I'm moving around with Hip Hop Motivation Live.
Oh, that's gonna be dope.
Sweet. We appreciate you, man. Stay safe. Like you said, the platform's always opened up for you, brother.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely, man. Anytime.
All right, brother.
Appreciate you.
Peace. All right. Yeah, man. So Kenyatta Griggs, great interview today with the brother, man. Powerful. We're on the heels. Nipsey. One more minute now. I think it'd be the time when he passed away so tragically about a year ago. So yeah, man, just listening to his music, just trying to keep his spirit and stuff going at this point, man. But I think he did great justice representing a good friend of his.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. And then he said something that was very profound that sticks with me. We all are out here mourning the death of somebody that we grew to love throughout his death. Unfortunately, somebody that we respected prior to his death, somebody that we damn sure got to know a lot more during the last year. But keep in mind the people who knew him intimately, the family, the mother, the father, the brother, the fiance, the the children, you know what I'm saying, the sisters. Just keep in mind everybody that was around him, they're very close friends that are mourning even closer because they've heard his voice intimately. They've got to have conversations with him. And we all know how it feels to lose a loved one. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't feel good. It's never something, like he also said, it's a wound that never really properly heals. There's no Band-Aid that can ever properly heal that, man. So keep his spirit alive. We got him on our board. We're going to idolize him every step of the way, every chance we can get.
Absolutely.
And keep his message alive, man. We out here self-made, self-owned, doing it like he said to do it. Not doing it because he said to do it, but like minds and real motherfuckers recognize real. And that's why we were affected so much, man. So I guess in my closing remarks, salute to Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
Your energy and your spirit lives on throughout a lot of people and all of us who recognize your hustle, and you will live on.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. But yeah, man, if you enjoyed this podcast today, before you get out of here, smash that 5-star rating. You got those 5 stars, man. Let the people know how much you enjoy the podcast. Also, if you want to catch the next episode and all future episodes, you got to go ahead and subscribe to the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast right now. We also got a special out there for all the people that may either be an artist or you're a producer, you represent an artist or manager, and you want to get your product in front of almost 1 million people. You can hit me up right now at ohgod@hiphopun.com, and Sandman is DLS Media Inc. #1 at gmail.com right now. Slots are filling up very, very fast. So you want to make sure you hit us up right fucking now.
And this ain't a contest for the people that were confused.
Yeah.
Go ahead. We're going to promote your music. We're going to get you on an interview. You're going to get it popping. But a contest ain't too bad, oh God. We might have to have a contest. People who, you know what I mean, take advantage of the promotional offer we got going on right now. People who invest in themselves. People who are serious about their music.
Right.
Once you get on here, we interview you. Maybe we'll have the people, you know what I mean, vote on who they like the best and do a little something for you. We'll figure it out, man. But a contest is a good idea. But that's not what we're running right now.
Nah, not now. But Vic, got any words tonight, brother? What do you think about the interview? You said it quiet.
I thought it was a good ass interview. It was a really good interview. I wanted to just pay homage to not Nipsey the rapper, not Nipsey the businessman, but just Nipsey the man. Just for everything that he represented. The great father that he was, the great husband that he was, and all that.
Absolutely.
Well said, brother.
Yeah, I think that's, one of the things that a great man. It's just sad that he had to go, but all we could do is just try to, be those type of men in our own life to our own families at this point, man. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
We look at our mortality right in the face. We said that when he passed away, man, and we sitting there with kids of our own, and life is not guaranteed to anybody. We could just go out here and live it the best way we can while we got it, man. So salute to Nipsey. We'll continue to do so.
Yeah, man. So episode 335 with Kenyatta Griggs is in the books today. We'll be back, family, with episode 336 in just a few short days. Shout out to the Digital Soapbox Network and all the other affiliates out there that rock out, with us, man. With that being said, that's all I got on my side of the table. That's Sandman, Viral Hip Hop News. I'm your brother, Oh God, Hip Hop News Uncensored. Over and out. Peace.